death of his wife, Lisa. Kolr 10 News Beat's Melissa Moon has been in the courtroom throughout the day. She joins us live from the Christian County Courthouse. Melissa.
Beth, the prosecution continues to build its case against former Ozark banker George Revelle. Today, 7 people took the witness stand. Among them, an insurance clerk who testified that a $500,000 insurance policy was taken out on the life of Lisa Revelle in July of '94. She also stated that George Revelle filed a claim on that policy 12 days after Lisa was murdered. The prosecution claims Revelle murdered his wife for financial gain. A Missouri Highway Patrol officer also testified for several hours and identified the bullet hole in Lisa Revelle's pillow. But the most dramatic moment of the trial so far came when the prosecution played the 911 call made by George Revelle.
Is that her moaning? Okay. How old is she? 37. Okay. Did the weapon fall or is the weapon there? There's not one either, no. Okay. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay on the line with you until they get there and help you, okay? Okay. If she stops moaning, stops breathing, I need to know immediately, okay, so I can tell you what to do. Right now, can you find out where she's been shot? Do you see any blood pooling? If she's bleeding, so we need to try to control that bleeding. We need to put something on, apply firm pressure. No.
Now, the prosecution has just introduced into evidence a letter that investigators found in a cigar box in the basement of the Revelle home. The letter was from Lisa to George. Investigators say in it, Lisa talks about problems in her marriage. Now, defense attorneys say the letter was written several years before the murder and has no bearing on this case. Beth.
Melissa Moon reporting live from the Christian County Courthouse. Thank you. In other news, the defense in the upcoming trial of President Clinton's former Whitewater business associates are insisting on the right to cross-examine the president. This as the subpoena forcing Clinton to testify in Arkansas next month was signed today. Regina Blakely reports from Washington.
President Clinton's former Whitewater business partner, Susan McDougal, says a videotaped appearance by President Clinton at McDougal's upcoming criminal trial is unacceptable.
Our preference is to have the president here live so the jury will have an opportunity to see and view him the same.
McDaniel said a satellite uplink might work, but either way, the president would be subject to cross-examination, his credibility laid open to the jurors, just as any other witness. The White House continues to say the president will cooperate in an appropriate fashion, with his lawyers and McDougal's attorneys trying to come up with a solution.
Previous presidents have done exactly this. It's become almost a matter of routine now for presidents to offer testimony in a variety of cases.
And while other sitting presidents have indeed been a part of the judicial process, President Ford testified by videotape in the trial of a woman accused of trying to assassinate him. President Carter also by videotape in a criminal trial of a financier. Bringing President Clinton right into the middle of the Whitewater case, right in the middle of the '96 elections, isn't the best timing for the White House, something McDougal's lawyers don't dispute.
It's a political trial. It's got political overtones, and that will never go away, and it's naive to think that it's otherwise.
The trial is scheduled to begin in Little Rock the 1st of March, the prosecution estimating around 5 weeks for their case, putting the president's appearance in whatever form sometime in April. Regina Blakely, CBS News at the White House.
A Chicago couple is in police custody accused of drugging and sexually abusing their 4 children over several years. The Chicago Tribune reports prosecutors say the parents fed their children irregular diets of deep-fried rats and boiled roaches. The children, a boy now 5 and 3 girls ages 10, 11, and 12, are living with a relative. The Tribune quotes one official who says at least every child was abused once a week. Authorities say all 4 children said they had been injected with cocaine. Prosecutors are seeking hair samples from the children to confirm that. The father was indicted in December on sexual assault charges, and their mother was arrested last week. The bitter cold over recent days may produce unexpected benefits this spring. Some scientists say it was cold enough last week to kill off some varieties of insects. Branson Bureau reporter David Wayne joins us outside with some inside information on insects. Dave?
Beth, spring and summer are just around the corner, at least we hope so, and that's when many of us will be spending more time outside. But it's also the time when insects can really bug you, if you know what I mean. At least this year there is some encouraging news. It's been cold this winter. How cold? Even Lake Taneycomo, which rarely freezes, froze over on some parts. However, once spring weather rolls in, the dreaded bugs will begin to visibly appear.
They are out there. They don't disappear during the winter days.
Barrett Klein is an entomologist. He says not all bugs are susceptible to extreme cold.
Thinking of the tenacity of certain insects like mosquitoes, they usually overwinter as eggs, and only when there are droughts, period of great dryness, will they suffer in great numbers. I think perpetual cold will not damage them greatly.
Klein has studied bugs all his life. He makes models of insects for a studio which designs science exhibits. Klein says a long, steady period of cold does not harm bugs as much as frequent fluctuating temperature extremes or extended periods of drought. Since neither has happened, don't expect a lot of relief this summer.
Particular insects that bug us, like mosquitoes and horseflies, I think we'll certainly have them in number because we haven't faced any sort of drought period, and we'll certainly have the beetles that burrow, pine borers and longhorn beetles and others, but there certainly will be some insects that suffer.
So what insects will suffer? Well, Klein says fleas and ticks will probably suffer the most from the cold snap, but it'll be quite a while before we know. He says it'll be sometime this summer before we can actually tell if the cold snap had any effect at all on the insect population. Beth?
Okay, well, let's hope he's right. Thanks a lot, Dave. Finally, it's starting to warm up here in the Ozarks. Ted Keller says this gradual warming trend will stick around for a while. He has our first weather. Ted?
Well, Beth, we have different categories of temperatures as we go into the 7-day forecast. First today we had 40s, next category 50s, then 60s. I still am holding on for at least one 70-degree day, all that we have to look forward to over the next several days. Temperatures around the area now have leveled off a little bit with cloud cover rolling in. We stopped at, well, the upper 40s for most areas, 49 still in Fort Leonard Wood. It's 50, though, in Flippin, Arkansas, 47 in Joplin and in Fayetteville. Here's the clouds I was talking about. We're looking at them across the Ozarks. Two types, actually, high clouds and some low-level clouds. The high clouds came in first. The low-level clouds may actually be responsible for a sprinkle or two that develops across the Ozarks later on tonight, mostly to the east of Springfield. But that really is the only mention of any kind of rain or liquid or precipitation in the forecast, and we'll have the extended outlook for you coming up in a bit.
Sounds good. We'll see you here in the studio in just a bit. Up next in our health and wellness advantage, chapped skin is a concern for many this time of year. We'll tell you how to make those rough hands silky smooth.
See you, Mom. Don't be late. I was 16 when I found out that I was pregnant with Carrie. I wasn't married and I was really scared. You know, some people today say that I should have had an abortion. But it never occurred to me that I had that choice just because it wasn't convenient for me. Hey, I'm no martyr. But I really can't believe I had a choice after I was pregnant. Think about it.
See it. Inspect it. Take it home today. Oak Express has the home office furniture you want at unbeatable prices. The Manhattan computer desk is a great value at just $149. The Washington computer desk with room for all your computer accessories is just $398. The 36-inch Boston roll-top desk is only $379. Plus, Oak Express has oak bookcases from just $52. We're your one-stop for home office furniture. Oak Express, 650 East Battlefield, next to Big Sur Waterbeds in Springfield.
You could sail the China Seas, tour the Pacific Rim, hop the Orient Express. But if it's adventure you're looking for, it's right in the neighborhood.
People don't recognize what a role that plays. They'll come in and say, oh, my skin is so dry and so itchy. What can I do?
If you turn down heat in the shower and still have dry skin, check out lotions at the local drugstore. Gibstein says you can usually find relief right off the shelf.
Most of them are pretty good. The most effective time to use it is right when you get out of the shower or bath and you towel dry and you apply it to the skin while it is still slightly damp. That's the time it's going to be most effective no matter which one.
If your misery persists, see a dermatologist because it could be something more serious than dry skin. But Dr. Gibstein says for many, the cure for chapping is merely skin deep. For Kolr 10 Newsbeat, I'm Dr. Regan Thomas.
Dr. Gibstein adds that skin gets drier with age. Moisturizers and milder soaps often become necessary as we grow older. Well, what a difference a day or two makes in this weather. Really, you could feel big difference today.
It's we're not going to grow old waiting for it to get warm. I can tell you that, because it's going to happen pretty quickly. Good. And the only thing we really have to worry about, and this is no big deal, clouds coming and going, we can take that. And we can also take these temperatures I'll have for you right after this.
Do you dial 1-800-CALL-ATT to make a call with your calling card or to make a collect call? Yes. If you know the code, you know 1-800-CALL-ATT works with calling cards and for collect calls. It does both. Like a magic key that unlocks any phone anywhere.
Whether going across the country or across town, use the code for all your calls. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT.
The only number you need when you're away from home.
That's your true choice. AT&T.
Mulholland Furniture is moving the entire sales operation to our new Highway 65 Superstore, where we will expand our galleries.
To achieve this, we must sell off all existing furniture in our downtown location during this once-in-a-lifetime moving sale. Plus, put no money down, pay no interest, and make no payments for 90 days.
So, shop once again in this grand building. Soon it will serve us for all our warehousing, but today it can serve you with once-in-a-lifetime savings.
Senator, your mouth has amazed this panel. First, you came out in favor of Long John Silver's battered dip fish.
Wholeheartedly.
Then you endorsed flavor baked fish.
I cannot deny that.
So, Senator, which is it?
Actually, I'm making a motion for New Southwestern battered dip fish.
Introducing Long John Silver's Southwestern battered dip fish.
And is it true that money changed hands?
Yes. But only $1.99.
Amaze your mouth with original or new Southwestern battered dip fish plus fries.
The plans, the providers, the plans, the providers. A quality health plan depends on quality health care providers. Premier Health Plans makes quality care affordable through the area's largest network of doctors, hospitals, and allied healthcare professionals. Get the care you need from the people you trust with Premier Health Plans, the way you want to be treated.
With each day this week, we'll show you this exact temperature graph, and we should see results and improvement as we go along. 40-degree temperatures today, 50s and 60s and 70s, waiting in the wings out to the west, and with our winds going out of the southwest tomorrow toward the northeast, that'll tend to bring this warmer air in, and then we'll just let the sun do its job over the next several days after that and increase us even more. As I said, we're heading for 60-degree temperatures, I think, by about Thursday and Friday, and maybe one shot at 70 or maybe a little bit above that before a Pacific cool front works its way in this weekend. I say Pacific because I wanted to distinguish that between an Arctic cold front, which is what we've managed to bring down here around here lately. Now, this is this cloud deck. The higher white clouds are showing up, but also underneath that is a gray area of lower clouds. And what's trying to happen tonight under these southerly winds is some sprinkles and light showers are breaking out, and we'll tend to want to move up north, but we'll also be pushed off to the east. So the net effect, I think, if there are any sprinkles or light showers at all, it'll be from Springfield on to the east, and this won't be heavy by any stretch of the imagination. Cloudy and 44 right now at the airport. 60% relative humidity. You have south winds and a falling barometer, 30.18. Looking at the almanac today, no rain to talk about, but despite the fact that it got cloudy here by mid-afternoon. 48, though, the high. South winds doing the job there. We started out clear and calm this morning, though, so we dropped all the way down to 17 for a low. Our normal low temperature has come up 1 more degree, and we're going to start to see that improve more and more over the next several days. Of course, March is when it moves the fastest. I thought this would be a good time to go back over some of the snowstorms we've had since the weather is looking so optimistic. You can probably take this news. Way back on November 10th and 11th, we had snow in Springfield. That, if you remember, was after the Lebanon tornado. We had a 3-inch snowstorm on December 8th, 3.3. These are all Springfield numbers, and I've indicated here where it was heavier. This storm was much heavier to the north of us. We had a little bit just before New Year's Eve. That was mixed with sleet and some ice. Then on January 2nd, that was the big one with the heavier snow off to the east of us, 12 inches and more in some areas. January 5th and 6th, we had just over 3. On the 18th, we had a little bit more, and of course, most recently, almost 2 inches. That was a band from McDonald County over to Dent County, running just south of Springfield. And you can watch the progression of these weather systems tonight. See this low gray area here? That's the low cloud deck I was talking about. And it's hard to see, but it actually comes up underneath the higher clouds. And actually, it's all moving very fast, so that's why we're not really going to forecast heavy rain. It's just not going to stick around long enough. The clouds will clear in Springfield here tomorrow before anywhere else, so that will help us to warm, I think, to maybe the upper 50s, with sunshine returning to the area by late in the afternoon. And as I said, highs in the 50s, 60s just out to our west, and we'll be enjoying those readings over the next several days. Forecast then for tonight, we're looking at cloudy skies. A few sprinkles could develop to the east of the city, and a low temperature of 36 degrees. Tomorrow, decreasing clouds across the area. Areas to our east may see the clouds all day, a high of 57. And then tomorrow night, mostly clear, a low of 35. On Thursday, partly cloudy and warmer with a high of 62 degrees. And there's the 60-degree temperatures lasting into the weekend. And when it cools down by 20 degrees like you see there between Saturday and Sunday, it's okay because we've built a buffer. We can take a 20-degree hit and still be above normal.
That's right. What a big difference between this coming weekend and this past weekend.
And, you know, we go back over the records. We've had a lot of those. In December, we had one weekend of 60s, then we went below zero the next weekend, and then 60s after that. Very strange pattern.
Okay, we'll see what it means for the springtime and the bugs and
you bet.
all that type of stuff. Thanks a lot. A total of $34,000 in private grant dollars is being distributed among 8 Springfield schools. The money is from the 1995 Telethon for Technology, a yearly fundraiser by the Springfield Public Schools Foundation. The biggest single award, nearly $12,000, goes to Sherwood Elementary for computer-aided newspaper publishing.
Well, it's the students' opportunity to express in writing and being able to interview people and use their language arts skills and improve upon their language arts skills. And it will be a school-wide activity as far as the newspaper is concerned, using computer learning centers where the students will actually write their newspaper articles.
Coming up at 6 on Kolr 10 Newsbeat, we'll have more on this high-tech learning program for the classroom. We'll hear what some students have to say about computer-aided learning. Wheelchair basketball is growing in popularity across the country, but wheelchair rugby is becoming the latest craze. Dan Lucy has that and more coming up in sports.
Kolr 10 Newsbeat's Earth Station is brought to you by Central Dodge.
Ford Credit announces the Great Percent event, slashing interest rates to just 4.8% APR for 48 months, or choose $600 cash back on a purchase or $600 back on a red carpet lease. It's your choice on 10 1996 models, including Ford Taurus, Ford Contour, Ford Probe, Ford Windstar, Ford Escort, and more. But 4.8% financing or $600 cash back won't last forever. The Great Percent event at your Ford dealer now. Hurry, offer ends soon.
We've secretly replaced Mary Rogers' regular bank with Union Planters. Let's see if she notices the difference.
Hi, Mary.
Oh, hello, Bill. Good morning.
Same friendly service, same can-do attitude. She'll even try and use one of her Capital Bank checks. Can Mary Rogers tell the difference between Capital Bank and Union Planters?
And you thought I wouldn't notice. You've changed your hair.
Capital Bank is now Union Planters. We're changing the signs, not the service.
Coming up on the CBS Evening News, this CEO fired workers to help his company's bottom line, but it hurt business instead. Now he's rehiring. When downsizing goes too far. The story later.
Storm hit on Sunday. Golf ball size hail.
Almost the whole town had damage. Houses, cars.
American Family immediately sent out a claims team.
Did you see the size of that truck?
Yeah, it had satellite dish and everything.
Couldn't believe how fast American Family took care of us.
Great people.
They really seemed to care.
Loyalty, the mark of satisfied customers.
American Family Insurance.
Look in the white or yellow pages for American Family and call today.
Hi, I'm George Skipper with Sleep Street Mattress Centers. Do you sleep? If so, listen to this. The best mattresses made are Sealy Posturepedic, Certa-Perfect Sleeper, and Stearns & Foster. It's simple. You tend to sleep better when you know you have the best mattresses at the best price. Come see us for the best selection on the best mattresses at the best prices. Sleep Street Mattress Centers. It's a dream come true.
Sleep Street Mattress Centers in the Battlefield Plaza next to Food for Less.
JoBeth Williams is family lawyer Reggie Love,
This is what I have picked to do with my life.
fighting for her family.
The marriage bond, okay? But you cannot keep punishing me and our kids.
her life
There'll be a next time, guys. I'm not going to disappear.
and for her clients.
Assault and battery qualifies as duress.
Now a powerful new dramatic series from America's foremost storyteller, based on his best-selling novel and hit motion picture.
In my opinion, Roy, my client is in danger.
John Grisham's The Client, tonight on CBS.
Well, the Bears are on a 2-game winning
right.
streak, but I hear they have some tough competition.
Well, the number 1 team in the Valley coming in, but somebody's beating that number 1 team, and it just happens to be the Bears. Southwestern Missouri State basketball Bears will face another big test tomorrow night at Hammond's. Bradley Braves come a-calling. Bradley in first place in the Missouri Valley, boasting of a 9-2 league mark. The Braves will also come into the game bent on revenge. SMS, the only school to have walked into the Carver Arena and walk out with a victory. Just Sunday, Tulsa had a 19-point lead there and blew it. SMS Bears have renewed confidence since winning back-to-back games, and they know that they'll have to play their best to win at home. We'll have a preview at 6. Now, when it comes to sports for those who are physically challenged, the first to come to mind is wheelchair basketball. That sport is growing in popularity here in the Ozarks and around the country, but some wheelchair-bound athletes in Texas have invented another sport. And as Brian Geichenschlag reports, it is called wheelchair rugby.
It's a little like basketball, a little like hockey, and a lot like rugby.
Go green, 1-1.
It's wheelchair rugby, and it's the fastest growing wheelchair sport in the world.
The strategy is that you use your teammates to set picks and blocks so that you can get your way clear into a goal.
The difference between this is a team sport, and I've missed that since I've been in a chair for about 14 years. That's been the one thing that it's really hard to find for someone in our situation.
Each team is made up of 4 players, and each player is given a point value based on his ability to use his hands and arms. No team can total more than 8 points, and that evens out the competition. Players use gloves and chairs that are specially designed for the sport, which, like hockey, includes a penalty box and power plays. One thing these athletes are very quick to point out is that this is definitely a contact sport.
First, people are shocked at the contact, because there's some major contact. People get slapped around pretty good.
If the ref doesn't see it kind of stuff, then you can get away with it kind of stuff, and there is a lot of that goes on out there.
There are some breaks in the action, like when someone takes an occasional spill, but the game moves incredibly fast, with each team typically scoring between 35 and 40 goals.
I can't put into words the good feelings that I get when playing this because of the competition and the friendships you form on the field, but it's a fantastic sport.
Wheelchair rugby will be a demonstration sport at the Paralympics this year in Atlanta, and the Hurricanes hope they'll be there. Brian Giesenslaw, CBS News.
Tell you what, but the most amazing thing with that is the contact. I mean, they just don't even hold back. They just go after each other, which is good to see.
Play a good game. Thanks, Dan. Steve Laraco joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the stories we're working on for the news at 6. Steve?
Beth, while most in the Commercial Street area say they are pleased with just approved measures aimed at cleaning up that part of town, those who run homeless shelters speak out. Cheryl Matthews tells us the shelters say their clients are not to blame for all the problems. Highway 65 and Interstate 44 are targeted for improvements. We'll tell you what's on tap. And Springfield PD says it's pleased with just released crime stats for the past year. Those stories at 6.
Thanks, Steve. But first, still to come on Kolr 10 Newsbeat at 5. Imagine going to school, taking notes, even exams, but never seeing your teacher or other students. It's all possible at Cyber School. We'll be right back.
On the next Inside Edition, they come to your door as a friend.
Give me a hug, baby.
And tell you you can't live without their product. But what they're really selling is deception.
I lied like a dog.
A stunning Inside Edition undercover investigation. Plus, our world exclusive with Michael Jackson continues. Now, Michael and his makeup girl. Just friends? Watch Inside Edition.
Tuesday at 6:30 on Kolr 10.
When health and safety are at risk, you want the best technology available. Working with the University of Missouri Health Sciences Center and the Callaway Community Hospital, Southwestern Bell is helping to bring advanced healthcare technology to rural communities instantly and interactively. It's the kind of technology that is saving lives and making Missouri communities healthier places to live and work. Southwestern Bell and Missouri, teamwork for the future.
Get a current weather report when you want it. Call the Kolr 10 Newsbeat weather line at 866-1010, 24 hours a day.
Accident victims may face serious injuries, death, staggering medical bills, and thousands of dollars in lost wages. If you or a member of your family are the victim of a negligent driver, call Kolr10 Newman. The attorneys at Kolr10 Newman will work with you to explain your rights, and they will fight to protect those rights. And you pay no fees until compensation for your loss has been made. Call Kolr10 Newman at 866-6665 and protect your rights.
Here's your pizza, sir. Oh, thank you. Thank you, and have a nice day now. You too.
Large regional banks are sometimes just too big. Come to Guarantee Federal Savings. We're just the right size.
Imagine making the grade, but never having to meet your teacher face-to-face. It's all possible at a new cyber school opening soon in Eugene, Oregon. Deanna Connell reports.
So I was trying to give you some context, like what is the resonance, the fire in Russian
For the first time, Russian literature teacher Nora Robertson is meeting her students face-to-face. All year, she's given class instruction via cyberspace.
It's a little easier to teach with email, I think also because each student is individually responsible for responding. There's no way to hide in an email class. They're supposed to respond.
Russian. South Eugene High School sophomores Emily Ryman and Nikolina Moisic are taking the experimental class sponsored by 4J.
I love to read. I always have, and this provided a way to learn more about Russian literature and to be able to read the stuff and then be able to discuss it with other people who have read it.
Every last homework assignment and all class discussions are done from home via the internet.
They'd have to care. High school is for everyone, and this is only for people who care.
4J is the first public institution in the world to give high school classes through email.
We're really not wanting cyber school to replace a traditional school. We think kids should go to the prom. They should play on the football team. They should engage in choir.
So far this year, about 30 kids are enrolled in 10 different virtual classes. Layton says they're working out the bugs, and next year they'll offer 3 times as many cyber classes, all for high school credit. In South Eugene, Deanna Connell, Northwest News.
One final check-in in the forecast. You never know what it's going to be.
Yeah, never know nowadays, but I can tell you it's going in the right direction. Cloudy skies have taken over the Ozarks tonight with temperatures in the 40s. There's a bit of a wind out there. I suppose there's a wind chill, but it's not all that bad. And I don't really expect these clouds to produce much in way of precipitation. Maybe a little bit of sprinkle activity. That'll be later on tonight.
Sounds good. And coming up in sports at 6 o'clock.
Right. Well, the Blues are playing tonight against Dallas at home. We'll preview that matchup. And also the NFL, you know, they're in Washington, D.C. with congressional hearings. All of the franchises moving, Seattle to Los Angeles, Cleveland to Baltimore, whatever. Federal hearings seeing exactly what they can do to stop them. Fans are talking to their congressmen saying, hey, we got to stop this. And we'll hear exactly what they're talking about at 6.
Okay, some big news. That does it for us tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight at 6 o'clock.